Welcome back to War Thunder. Welcome aboard a British medium tank with the name Mark 8 A27M Cromwell RP3, which is a rank 2 battle rating 3.3 British premium medium tank, and it is a special one. Why is that? Well, it has rockets. At battle rating 3.3 seems a bit overpowered. Oh no, it's actually the opposite. And I want to give you not just a first impression with this tank, but also an amazing double kill gameplay here on Sinai in this tank in realistic battles. And I want to kind of tell you my thoughts on the insane price of 3,450 golden eagles for a tank that has also a battle rating equivalent and also kind of the same tank in the normal tech tree without the rockets, that you can also make practically a premium tank for 640 golden eagles for the talisman. Is the difference worth it of 2,810 golden eagles? The simple answer is absolutely not. But, you know, is this maybe a collector's item? Absolutely yes. Can you still make it work? Is it a bad tank? Absolutely not. But the only selling point of this tank are the rockets, and they are just not good. To make it more precise, they're actually more dangerous for you than they are for the enemy. And this is not easy to kind of see and not so obvious in the test drive, I think. Now, why is that? Well, those rockets are a little bit the same rockets in terms of how they behave in one aspect to the M26 T99, which is an American medium tank equipped with a lot of rockets. And there you can see I shot my first two rockets and I slammed them in the rocket into the stone wall behind the target. I tried to hit the building to kind of remove the cover for the tank that is behind there. Was that really bad gameplay by me? Was that just me being bad? Absolutely not. Now, I thought I'd have the right elevation with my tank for hitting this poor guy here, but I finished him off with the gun, and the gun is nice in my opinion for what it is. Now, after this kill, let's make a short kind of interruption here. We are here on Advance to the Rhine, and I have some targets in front of me. I see a Panzer IV on my left side approaching, and I stun him with a cannon breech shot. I try to hit him on level ground, and you can see how much the rockets go above him. There is absolutely no chance of me hitting this guy. I have to finish him off with the gun, which I eventually do. This is the first strike. The first two rockets launch from the right side, the other two from the left side. This is flat ground because you can't control the elevation, as I mentioned, except for kind of wedging up the tank somehow, so you get the right elevation. And also maybe rocking forwards and backwards. But this is on flat ground. Let's get a bit more into detail. This was a battle scene in another battle, and this happened. Watch the kill cam. This is a heat shell from a Stuck 3A. It explodes on the turret side and then detonates the ammo rack. This is a test with the Panzer IV F2-1. Or the Panzer IV F1. That was an APHE shell hit directly on the warhead. I detonate. It's not always necessarily the first hit that brings the shell to detonate, and so this is just after the third hit with an APHE shell. It depends on how exactly you hit the rocket. And this hit was deadly, but you can see I did not penetrate the tank. It's exactly the rocket. Next ammunition type. And this is obviously high explosive. Again, not penetrating the tank itself, but the external rocket explosion is enough to detonate the tank in its entirety. And this was just on the fin of the shell, but the shrapnels reached to the warhead as well. Now look at this. This is with the machine gun. Even the machine guns on a Panzer IV can detonate your rockets. This is how grave the problem is. But That's not all. In this case, he just slightly damaged the rockets. You can repair the rockets. In 8 seconds, you have the rockets repaired. As far as I did in testing, this also meant that you can even fire black non-exploded rockets and they still work. And even if you hit the cage itself without the rockets and you refill it in arcade, it doesn't matter. The cage doesn't explode, it's exactly the rockets. Now this does not work with any other rocket equipped tank as far as I can tell. It doesn't work with ATGMs, and it also just works with the M26T99. The next few scenes actually prove that you cannot damage yourself with the rockets and that they are actually having a lot of high explosive splash, and you also can penetrate the roof of a King Tiger with it by not even hitting it directly. And this is how you can aim the rockets, by pure line of sight. And this is a deadly hit if the tank doesn't have a fire extinguisher. So you see, the rockets have a punch, you just can't hit anything, and they are a external ammo rack. I used this test on the Matilda because it has exactly 75mm of armor. So I think that's enough testing, let's go back to the actual battle. So we are back where we left, and after 4 kills I continue slaughtering the enemies, catching a martyr in the open. Second shot, first one disabled him, and the third shot should be the charm. Yes, it is. So I like the tank. It has a good horsepower to ton ratio of 21.12 horsepower per ton. That is really fast. Top speed is also really good with around about 50 kilometers an hour. And you know, overall this tank really can do a lot of things in terms of moving around on the battlefield. Now, is this worth the money? I don't think so. So you have to pay 3,450 golden eagles for the Cromwell RP3, but you also can make the normal Cromwell 5 a kind of nearly premium tank for 640 golden eagles for the talisman. So you have the same research speed. Having said that, you don't have the additional Silver Lion income, but remember, this is just a tier 2 premium tank, so it's just effective to research tier 1, 2 and 3 vehicles. And I'm not quite sure if in my books this is not worth the money, because for that amount of golden eagles you can get numerous other low tier premium vehicles, including planes. So what are the actual downsides of the rockets? So you have no vertical aim correction, you're just 4 of them, and in realistic you have to go back into a cap circle to restock them, and they restock or get refilled parallel to your normal ammunition. 7th kill. And they count as an external ammo rack, as you just could see, but furthermore they lower the tank's horsepower to ton ratio because you are 400 kilograms heavier. Then they make the tank more visible, going around the corner or sitting behind a bush. You have these huge cages, they are just visible, so the enemy tank gets alerted more often that there is something. The rockets are the only selling point of this tank, and they don't cut it. That's how it is. But you could see they are effective when you hit them. Now what are the good things about this? Well, you have a relatively low battle rating rocket equipped tank. It's a collector's item. The rockets have a high penetration of 75mm of armor. They are counted as semi-armor piercing shells, and when we compare it to the high explosive shells of the KV2, which are practically the same caliber, we see that the KV2 has less penetration. In fact, much less penetration with the high explosive shell of just around about 54mm. So you practically have 20mm more than the KV2's high explosive shell, and that already is pretty mighty. Nevertheless, you can blind your enemies, you can intimidate them, you can rob them the vision, you can even if you don't kill the tank, you automatically track them, and you also damage their weapon systems. Even splash damage is possible, but in my book, this doesn't justify the big Golden Eagles difference of 2,810 Golden Eagles in comparison to a Talisman on the normal Cromwell 5, which has the same battle rating, the same gun, a slightly better horsepower to ton ratio. 8 kill. I like the tank. I mean, there are things about British tanks in general that suck. The bad reverse gear, for example, or the lack of armor-piercing high explosive shells, except on 3 of them, of which 2 are premium, of one of them being a reward vehicle. So, you kind of see my problem here. Now, I think I got a 75% discount on this tank again, and that was the only reason that I purchased it. Then it cost just under 1,000 Golden Eagles for a tier 2 premium. Nice landing there. Now this battle was really nice, and I love British tanks, and I love them in RB because you have the mobility on certain tanks to get around, lay an ambush, and just disable the tank and finish them off with precise quick firing shooting. I like that aspect. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and to be honest, Russian tanks just can bounce a lot of your shells and one-shot you in return every single time. You have 5 crew members, of which 2 sit in the front of the tank. And, you know, that gives you a lot of survivability in this respect. But very often, 9th kill, it is kind of... You get one-shotted anyways. Even the Panzer IV F2 kills you 9 out of 10 times with a turret penetration, because a few shrapnels find their way into the driver's head. The tank is not long enough, or the turret section is not set back enough to kind of interrupt the shrapnel's way with certain armor platings, which would explain the survivability of even Panthers and King Tigers versus Russian 122mm armor-piercing high explosive penetrations in the turret. So normally you have good survivability, 5 crew members, 2 of them in the front. Practically you get one-shotted anyways. So here on Sinai, the enemy team crumbled. There is not much left. I'm transitioning from one spawn point to the other. And yeah, I'm just testing out the tank's mobility. I've played around about 7 battles in this tank today. This one was the last. I really like it. But again, the price and the uselessness of the rockets. If the rockets would be able to be aimed, this would justify so much more. 10th kill, double ace, thank you very much. But in fact, they have so many drawbacks. External ammo rack. Yeah, I'm repeating myself, I know. External ammo rack. Unable to have a vertical aim correction. Just 4 of them. They don't cut it for me. I mean, you can get insanely lucky kills. In realistic battles, every enemy that I killed was with the gun. I tried it with the rocket. I really tried it. I never got the chance so far. And when I have 7 battles, and the tank is good in terms of maneuverability, mobility and so on, and I kill them all with my gun, why do I need the rockets? They are more dangerous to me than they are for the enemy, as I just stated previously. So, if you have any real selling point, let me know in the comment section. Because I'm out of arguments for this tank. It's not a bad tank, but the price is not worth it, you know. You can see here how parallelly they rearm, but they take a little while. But it's just 4 rockets that you actually can rearm, so it will not take an awful long time. So, if you think that having those rockets, which are practically useless, for 2,810 Golden Eagles more, which is nearly 4,000 Golden Eagles or 3,500 nearly in total, well, you must be a collector. So this battle so far was really nice. It showed how fast this tank is, how good it is in terms of deleting Germans with also having flat armor. Against Russians, you struggle. T-34s, they just delete you. And yeah, the gun handling stats overall, 25%, 25 degrees per second turret rotation speed, but just 4 degrees per second elevation speed, 12 degrees of gun depression. It's a nice tank. You can make it work. So let's have a quick look at the post-battle results. And for my 10 kills, 1 assist and 2 capture zones, I got nearly 95,000 silver lines and over 6,300 research points together with another emblem. I have no idea what that is, but doesn't matter. There was a 10% booster applied from somebody on my team for the rest of the team, which is nice. A lot of awards, and yeah, that's the tank. I mean, the silver line income is nice, but you don't have this kind of battle every battle, I have to say. And I was first in team with 2,841 score points. Anyways, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this kind of semi-tank review, first impressions and double ace gameplay. If so, please give this video a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and we will see each other on the battlefields of War Thunder.